getting into the co-main event. Um, Obviously, Cool Boy misses weight by 2 pounds. Listening to Joe Guzman in the commentary saying, "Hey, listen, man, if I was his coach, I wouldn't be happy. He's moving up in weight and he's missed two pounds." Then he kind of performed. It just seemed like he didn't have an answer throughout the fight. What you think about his performance? What do you think about the 2 pounds? What's your mind wrapped around this?
I was very excited for him, because I know him. And one day I was like just thinking, like, damn, there's never been a three division world champion from Philadelphia. Even though we the city that have the most world champions in the US, we've never had a three division world champion. I started like I was just thinking to myself, like, Dad, PBC is missing the boat. That's how they should be promoting this fight. Because Bernard Hopkins, who's the best fighter from Philly, he skipped 168. So he was at 60 and then 75. So he didn't win it. And, our two great fighters of the 80s, Jeff Chandler and Matthew Sa Muhammad, they stayed in one weight division, 75. And Matthew Sa Muhammad was 75 and Jeff Chandler was 118. And Meldrick Taylor and Danny Garcia, both of them won titles at 40 and 47. But Meldrick couldn't win the 54 title, and Danny didn't beat Lara for the title at middleweight. So I was like, damn, Scooter got a chance to do something that nobody in Philly ever had to, not had a chance to do, but nobody in Philly has ever done. And um and when he missed weight, I was like, damn. I was a little bit shocked. I'm not gonna lie, I really was. I was like, damn, 2 pounds. I thought somebody was playing with me when they called me. I was like Scooter missed weight. I was like, I don't want to curse, but I was like, get out of here, man. Ain't no way he missed weight. Just move to 130. So I don't know, I don't know what happened. I don't want to give anybody an excuse, and I don't want to criticize somebody for doing something if I don't know the whole story. So I want to be
How about this
respectful.
piece? How about this piece? People saying, "Wow, they're rewarding him for not making weight and getting that interim title at 135." What's your thoughts on that? The WBC doing that?
Um, yeah, I've never seen that before. I don't know what to say about that. I've never seen that before. Scooter's my guy, but that was kind of all I can
Nasty.
say is I've never seen that happen ever, where you get to fight for a world title after missing weight for at another weight division. It may have happened, but I just can't remember it happening. But um, yeah, I heard what Joe Goosen was saying. It was pretty tough. You got a right to feel that way, though. I want to hear what Scooter has to say about the weight and what happened before I say too much. I want to give him respect, but the person we should be talking about was Oshaki Foster. He fought his ass off, and I don't have no problem saying I was wrong. I thought Scooter would win the fight. Oshaki Foster was so hot and cold when I seen him fight. You know what I mean? I was just like, damn, like sometimes he looks good, and then sometimes he looked like he's sleepwalking. But last night, man, he was on. Um, he looked like he was on. His jab was good. He was precise. He looked like he watched the Inouye fight and saw how Inouye put a jab on Scooter, and he just was just constantly jabbing them from both sides. He just was hitting Scooter with long, straight, hard punches. He never really let Scooter get on the inside. And even though Shaki Foster is a natural 130, Scooter is nasty on the inside. And I was thinking to myself, I've seen Scooter work on the inside a lot in fights. He did it versus Brandon Figueroa, but I've been watching him do that in the gym his whole career. So I was saying to myself, if Scooter get on the inside, he might could be a little bit slick for him in there and, grab him and hit him on the break and keep turning him and change the direction of the fight. Um, I heard Boozy tell him, to try to get on the inside or back him up. But Oshaki Foster, man, was just on his jab and the way he was controlling the distance and the way he was like countering with just little, like he wasn't really loading up on too much, but he was hitting Scooter just hard enough to say, you're not just coming up in here. And I want to give that brother full props. That was even though I'm from Philly, even though, I got a relationship with Scooter, Oshaki Foster for his ass off. That was a great performance, man. And I gotta give him his props. Sometimes you got to tip your hat to the other guy. You can't make no excuses. And I'm really objective when I see what, regardless of who I like and who I know. Oshaki Foster fought wonderful. Like, that's the best I've ever seen him. Um, like, man. And he looked great from both sides. Like, he turned southpaw and his jab was working
The
over there.
fourth round.
Yeah, it was nasty. Like,
He looked really good switching, huh?
he
I
really
couldn't see
like,
the differences.
no, he was equal from both sides, which a lot of guys are not equal from both sides. Like,
Facts.
even the great southpaw, even the great switch guys, they don't be equal. Like, Marvin Hagler is better from the southpaw stance. Terrence Crawford is better from the southpaw stance.
Right.
Shaki Foster, like, you couldn't even tell.
I know.
I'm like, damn, like, he was bad, man. He that was a great performance. That's all I can say is that was a great performance, and hopefully he could just be more consistent throughout his career. Because it was a couple fights ago, I was like, damn, man, like, what's wrong with him? Even one guy, the Mexican guy, I forget his name. That guy was winning the whole fight, and then he had to come back in the 12th round and win the
Fourth
fight.
round.
So
Yeah.
he's like a little inconsistent, man. Um, but last night, bro, if that guy shows up, he's the best 130 pounder in the world.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We gotta talk about him moving up now. I mean, he's over here talking about exercising his rights to go up to 135 to fight Shakur Stevenson. I mean, that's what that belt was all about.
Oh, wait. Um, wait.
The
So
WBC interim.
Oshaki Foster is fighting Shakur Stevenson
He's
next?
he wants to fight Shakur after he fights Tio.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know he was moving up. I don't know if he could be Shakur, but he's a he, that's a good challenge. I wouldn't favor him over Shakur. I would favor him over the other guys at 130. I didn't know he was, that was a fight for Shakur. I think he'd probably be a little bit more dominant at 130. Shakur is a different animal, but I respect him for challenging themselves.
All right, going back to the fight, I completely agree with you with the distance control. Everything that Oshaki did very well, right? But a lot of people were even looking at it like Oshaki might have played it a little safe and could have probably stopped him just by the results of the 12th round, how it was looking. What would you say about that?
Um, I don't want to criticize him. I thought he fought pretty much a perfect fight. You know what I mean? He
Yes.
probably did what he trained to do, did what his corner told him to do. Maybe he could have stepped on it a little bit more, but that was such a good performance. It's not worth to criticize that. He won every round from a world class elite fighter. So Foster did his thing. No, nobody could. Anybody want to criticize that? They just nitpicking. Foster fought a great fight. You're not going to stop everybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Going back to the styles of Shakur and Foster. I mean, Foster showed some good distance control, but then you got Shakur that is pretty much a master at that. If that fight was to play out, right? People look at the resume of Shakur. He fought the De Los Santos fight, and we all know De Los Santos top level guy. Showed a little wrinkles in his game. Could Shockey do anything that De Los Santos did? And then also a question for you: do you feel like Shockey is a boxer puncher in your eyes, or do you feel like he's just a straight boxer?
I think he's a boxer puncher. I don't think, but I think he's very, very physically strong, and he has like them hard hands. Some guys got like explosive hands where they hit you and they put you to sleep, and then some
Mm.
guys got kind of hard hands where they don't have the highest KO percentages, but when they hit you, you feeling it, and they like beating you up, and they like let you know like you don't want to keep taking this all night. I think he has those kind of hands. I looked at Scooter's face, and he was like discouraging him. He was like busting them up a little bit. um, I would not favor Oshaki Foster against Shakur, but I'm not going to disrespect Oshaki Foster and say he can't win. That's how I am with the fight. I favor Shakur. I don't know, it's going to be very difficult to be smaller than Shakur and coming up and beating him because you got to like put like some kind of like just that dense. body weight and just physical strength on him to just complete. If it's really hard to outbox him. So you go, I don't. Oshaki Foster could box his ass off, but I don't know if he could box at the level of being able to outbox Shakur Stevenson. You know what I'm saying? So that's a different level of boxing. So
So he would
you
have to
have to.
take it to Shakur a different way.
He would. I think he might have to take it to Shakur a different way.
I agree.
So you know what I mean. So I don't know if he can do that. That's a big act. Shakur is special, but obviously he must see something in Shakur if he want to fight. So man, you know where I stand. Guys want to fight, let him fight. I want to see big fights. So I wouldn't favor him, but I wouldn't just count him out because he's you know, he just came off a great performance and he got a right to get better. But there does seem to be levels, and I think that Shakur is one of the best 10 fighters in the world. And I don't know if he can fight. But listen, we talking about that. Shakur got to fight versus Teofimo Lopez. They got to figure that out before we can talk about Oshaki Foster. I didn't know that Oshaki Foster and Shakur was even next when talked about, but he got a big fight, man. So we can't. Teofimo Lopez is a major challenge. Shakur got, I'm sure his eyes is set on that.